Well, training camp starts actually in 16 days. And I saw this story on NBC Sports Washington about Paul Richardson, where Jay Gruden still believes that the wide receiver, who we didn't see injury, still has the wow factor. Gruden said he showed glimpses in training camp of, wow, this guy can run. He's got great hands, but I think he was beat up a little bit. I know he's got it in him. I know he wants that back, and he's going to ask for a lot more opportunities to make plays in the ball this year, and he will if he gets healthy. And it got me thinking about the team, like Paul Richardson, and really that wide receiver group, to me, is one of the biggest question marks for this team. A lot of people are going to say, well, the biggest question mark is who's going to be the starter at quarterback.
Right.
And that's a definite question mark. And I just was thinking, like, there are a lot of questions for this team, and we can throw it out to callers as we open up the Hadid Carpet Cleaning listener lines at 800-636-1067. When the Redskins get to training camp, what are the biggest questions you want answered as a Redskins fan?
Well, I mean,
to me, actually, the wide receiver position, as I think about it, I mean, obviously the quarterback, who's going to start, it's intriguing.
That's
it's
a
going to be
no-brainer.
Dwayne Haskins as a starter. But to me, that position where it's Josh Doxson who, look, they're going to move on after this year because they decided not to give him the option. But I think he's still penciled in as your starter. And Paul Richardson be your other starter just based on, you know, the money they gave him, his experience. But then they drafted a couple guys.
Trey Quinn is there in the slot.
You have Trey Quinn, who they believe can be really effective in the slot. You saw a glimpse of him, but not much. To me, it's a huge question mark because whoever the quarterback is going to be, you need weapons. And these weapons are not proven.
No, they're not.
Maybe McLaurin, who they drafted high, will be good. Maybe Harmon, who they feel like is a steal, will be good. Maybe it'll be Richardson. But to me, there's nothing proven at wide receiver. To me, it is all question marks at wide receiver. So if you want to chime in, 800-636-1067 as we start approaching Redskins training camp, what are you thinking are the biggest questions for the Redskins?
I think this position group is better, obviously, than the wide receiver core, but I have huge questions about DERRIUS GUICE.
I was going to bring up GUICE.
I need to see him, and can he stay healthy?
No one ever brings up GUICE because we didn't see him last year.
He's a huge part of this offense.
But they
if he can stay healthy.
They drafted him pretty freaking high.
He's a guy that if he's healthy should be touching the ball between 15 and 20 times per game. Now he's not going to be involved that much in the passing game because that's more Chris Thompson's role in this offense. But he can catch balls out of the backfield too. Like you should incorporate him if he can perform that task.
They've got
get him in the mix there too.
So many unknowns on offense.
But he is a pivotal member of the offense because if he has the explosiveness he had pre-injury, that's a guy that's a real weapon in the backfield. If he's not back to that level, then you're relying on Adrian Peterson, giving him the ball probably more than you want to at this stage in his career. You know, like Samaje Perine.
JP, they've got so many unknowns on offense.
It's almost all
Think
offense.
about it. It's all offense because, you know, they added a couple guys on defense, but most of those guys were there last year. But on offense, you've got all those new receivers, and I'm including Richardson because he didn't play much last year. But you've got two new quarterbacks. You've got a new running back, GUICE, who wasn't there last year. So you've got basically a whole different offense. I mean, you've got the same tight ends, and you've got some mainstays on the line. But, man, you've got a lot of question marks at the skill positions on offense.
Another big question mark, 800-636. Is he going to show?
Right.
Is he going to be there? We're going to be doing shows, I believe, July 30th and 31st.
Right.
From training camp.
Will he be there?
Is he going to be there? My guess would be no.
Now, that's relatively early in training camp. I would guess he's at training camp at some point, but probably not by that point.
Oh, I think he might be one of those guys
you think he
who
sits out all of training camp?
Sits out. He can skip a couple of preseason games. Let's put it this way. If you're the Redskins and Trent Williams skips everything until the third preseason game.
Right.
Aren't you still going to start him?
Of course.
Week one?
Of course you start him week
so
one.
If you're Trent Williams and you know that,
you have leverage.
But the question is,
deal
if you're
with
the
all that
Redskins,
early
are you giving
nonsense?
Trent Williams a new deal? Are you going to give him a 2 or 3 year extension before the first game or before week one? I would say you have to.
The practical side of me probably says no with his injury history.
Yeah, but do you want him really pissed off going into the season?
He is an elite player at his position when he's healthy.
I would say no. I'm with you. Too many injuries because you could end up regretting it. He's basically holding you hostage, and you understand that. and let's say you give him that big contract, and then he ends up being like last year or the year before, where he's banged up and you're constantly scrambling to like. I don't believe that he's going to be a 16-game player for.
He might not be.
The Redskins
He probably
anymore.
won't.
You'd like him
But
for
then
13 or 14.
Then you risk him sitting out until he gets a new deal.
Right.
True.
And then you miss him for the first, 4 or 5 games of
Okay.
the season. Then you Jerron Christian starting.
All right,
Right.
but how many people are going to pull a Le'Veon Bell? You know what I mean?
I
Like
didn't
at
think
some
he would.
point, you would think that Trent Williams would be like, "Hey, you know what? I need to play.
He might not.
I need to make some money."
He might not.
No,
Maybe
he
not.
will play. There is no way he's missing game checks. Impossible. He's not missing those fat checks once they start rolling around for week 1.
One would think, but
It
we all
might
thought
come to a
Le'Veon Bell
standstill.
wouldn't want to.
Okay.
That's what I'm
Le'Veon
saying. I
Bell
didn't
gave
think
up.
You know what? That was
$13 million bucks.
That was a catastrophic financial decision by Le'Veon Bell.
Although he's bounced back, signed a pretty good deal with
that's
the Jets.
fine, but he has a limited shelf
I
life.
don't know.
He missed
This
out on $14 million. He'll never get
Bottom
back.
line is there's a ton of questions on the offense.
No question. All right, let's go to the phones. 800-636-1067. You want to chime in? You can also text us. Thompson Creek Windows text machine. Standard message and data charges may apply. It's 1-800-636-1067.
Let's go to Mo in Largo. What's up, Mo? You're on with the Junks.
Good morning, fellas. Thanks for taking my call.
Yep.
Hey, Mo, how come you don't say good morning twice? You usually said good morning,
Is he
fellas.
shaking
Good
it
morning.
up?
Now you only
You
say it
do
once.
realize that I said that like 2 years ago, right?
Yeah, but
I
you
understand
said it-
that you're just
you said
picking
it
up on
every
that
time.
now.
Every time you said it.
I stopped doing that a while ago, Lurch.
But my question is why?
Because he realized
I
it
don't
was a
know.
verbal crutch.
He's evolved.
I like it. I
No,
want you to go
no,
back
no,
to it. Go back to, hey, good morning, fellas.
Okay.
Good morning.
Okay, just for you. But as with regards to what we're talking about, I mean, I need offensive line continuity. JP kind of stole my thunder with the old question mark of Trent Williams, whether or not he'll actually show up. But I got to believe that Le'Veon Bell put in the blueprint of what not to do with regards to contract negotiation strategies. I mean, like you said, you're never going to get that money.
What would you
All in
do,
all,
though,
I
if
mean-
you're the Redskins? Jason says give him money and extend him now. What would you do?
Well, personally, I would try to extend him for at least another 2 to 3 years. I'm assuming that he probably wants something of more length than that. But for the next couple of years, I would try to, something within reason. But he's got to keep in mind, I mean, he doesn't exactly have the cleanest track record with regards to staying on the field health-wise or just staying out of trouble. So everything is relative in this situation. But, I would try to extend him. I mean, he is top 5 best offensive tackles in the league when he's on the field. And it's hard to find those kind of guys. So, it's all relative. Thanks, fellas.
So you say offensive
Thank you,
line.
Mo.
See, I'm telling you, I'm still saying it's the wide receiver group. Do you realize who led them in yards per catch last year?
Hold on. I think I know who it is. I don't think it was a wide
Yards
receiver.
per catch?
I think it was Vernon
Was it?
Davis.
Was it Vernon Davis?
Vernon
It was VD.
Davis.
I think it was like 15 yards per
Almost
reception,
15
something
yards.
around that.
About 14.7
Yeah.
yards per catch.
Hmm.
They need more out of the wide receiver position. And Jay Gruden can say Richardson has this wow factor and he's blown away by his speed. You just need to see it. It's not proven in a Redskins uniform.
Yeah.
Well,
By the way,
you might also see that with McLaurin.
He's always been billed and hyped as a mini Deshaun Jackson. I'm talking about Paul Richardson. And that's exactly what he is. He doesn't play a ton of games. He's super fast. He'll make some highlight reel type catches, and then he won't be on the field for half the season, if not more. He's exactly like Deshaun Jackson, just not as good.
Yeah, I was going to say, because Deshaun Jackson, to me, he's a number 1 or definitely a number 2.
Maybe a number 2 at this point in his career. Now, he has explosive potential, but like he misses a ton of games.
Paul Richardson, to me, came over as a complimentary player that they wanted to be a feature player.
Right. And they're giving...
Maybe he could be a feature player because they need it.
Well, he's making feature player type of money, too. He's pulling in $8 million a season.
Because you look at that wide receiver group, I mean, if you just go through every team in the NFL, almost every team has a premier number 1 type guy at wide receiver.
Oh, if you look at wide receiver rankings for the entire NFL, there's no way they're not in the bottom 3 or 4 for wide receivers. How could
Yeah, I
there
would
be
agree.
how could there be 4 units worse than this team?